What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a couple of Grayscale trusts today. We're going to go over LTCN and BCHG in this video. Hit that like button. Let's go over GLNK too. Screw it. LTCN, BCHG, and GLNK. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it, okay? Let's make this video as fast as it can be. These videos typically go a little bit longer. Here we are, sitting at about $9.38 with 2 hours and 58 minutes left in the day here for LTCN. It is the 2nd of September. It's the opening day of this week, right? Tuesday, because Monday we were closed. Yes, consolidating a little bit here. I wouldn't be too surprised if we went a little bit lower. I am expecting somewhat of a slow grind down for a lot of cryptos right now, but I think that you're in a good posturing overall. Your daily RSI looks healthy. Stochastics are reluctantly bearish, reluctantly so, and the MACD is bullish overall with some bullish momentum building even, or at least bearish momentum dying off. So overall, you look decent. Let's look at LTC real quick. LTC. What are you doing, LTC? It's taking a second to load. You know, in moments like this, I find it's really imperative to talk about the important things in crypto, things that can help you avoid making serious and tragic financial decisions, things that can help you make the best decisions for yourself. And, you know, literally, okay, here we are. So we're at $110.46 right now. 5 days, 7 hours left in the week here. Looking at this on Litecoin, the weekly RSI is rejecting the overbought zone. Yeah, you look like you want to come down a little bit lower. I would confirm or confer. I would agree that LTC wants to go down. That would make me think that LTCN would want to go down too. That's what I mean there. So yes, how much lower will LTC go? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe to $100, maybe to $94. You're at 110 now. If LTC drops that much, does that mean LTCN is going to drop that much too, like in correspondence to the percentage drop? I don't think so, but maybe it drops less, maybe it drops more. I would think, you know, you're at 941, maybe you go to 777, 744. At the least 835, but something to the downside, and that probably happens between now and the next couple of weeks. I would think that that's like a 2-week slow drawn out process to the downside, and then you'll move up. You'll find a higher low overall, and then you'll move up. Okay, oversell yourself on the stochastics, maybe get toward the oversold zone on the RSI, get to that zero line on the MACD, and then start to move up. Right, weekly time frame. Looking at this here. Overall, we do have a nice little double bottom shape here, this Adam and Eve pattern. Maybe it's an Eve and Eve pattern here. I think that you're in good shape. Come down a little bit, back test that area of resistance for support. Maybe even a little bit lower if you really need to, but I don't know how much. I wouldn't think that you go too much lower than that. From a high to a low, and that there again, that's at like that $8, $8.70 area. High to low here, 0.69 bounce. Come down, find support, continue to rally. We should see, I think, by the end of this month, LTCN should be above $13. By the end of this month of September, I wouldn't be surprised if we're above $13. Going into October, things should really start to spice up, and I think we're going to be seeing prices all the way up at $33 to $41 by the end of October or more. I mean, we really could be at higher prices, but it depends on what Litecoin does. If LTC really takes off, and sees new all-time highs, then I think that we could get up here. But if LTC is moving up, you know, if it does like a 300% move, which I think it will, anything from like a 200 to 300% move, that'll probably correlate with that same move over here, $33 to $42 for LTCN. I don't know. If LTC moves up 2 to 300%, which I think it will by the end of October, if not sometime between then and November, between now and like in November, maybe we do see new relative highs, $54. I just don't think that we get all the way up to $101 by the end of October or sometime in November. And it would make a lot more sense to stop at $42 to $33 in my opinion. Maybe $54 at the highest, but something like that on this next run. Then you'll consolidate, and then going into the end of the year, beginning of next year, we should be pumping higher, right? As this year develops, as we further develop this crypto cycle going into the end of this year, we'll have a better understanding of when to expect the end of the cycle. And for most cryptos, I don't really care about when. I'm waiting for major macro indicators to flash. You know, when is irrelevant. It's going to happen at some point. Whenever that happens, we'll talk about it. But for Grayscale Trust, it's important to discuss the when, because these trusts will likely top off before the underlying assets do. So if we can assume that the top is going to be in May or April, like I'm thinking it will be for the crypto markets, maybe June at the latest, then we would want to probably think about layering out of these Grayscale trusts, you know, as early as like 3 months before, if not maybe like a month before that presumed date would be, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go on to BCHG here. I don't know what it is, you guys, but like every single video today, I've just been, it's like I can't talk. It's like I've got my tongue twisted. I don't even know how to explain it. And this is what I get for how many? Let me see. For like almost 4 months of sobriety now, and I'm tongue tied and tongue twisted. It's lack of sleep is what's doing it. You can be sober, man, but if you're sleep deprived, you are going to, well, you're gonna be silly, a little slap happy. Moments like this where the charts are loading and freezing, I think it's important to discuss the most important things of life. And we're back. So here we are at $4.11. I gotta stop. I do that too much. It's fun. I like to mess with people. I can't imagine the amount of people who actually hear that and they're like, what was the point of that? You were just about to say something important. What happened? I wasn't about to say anything important. I like to mess with people. That's why I say we're going to the moon. No, we are going to the moon. $4.11 right now on a weekly time frame. BCHG actually looks really good, really healthy. Undeniable that was an ABC correction and you're done with that now. We can look at this here through Elliott wave theory. You have a nice, would it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe? Would it just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I don't know how this look would be. Perhaps this impulsive move started here. I don't know. And this is all part of like a consolidation phase. But we had the correction, the ABC correction, which tells us that we are in an overall uptrend, which obviously we are. Clearly we are. We still have higher lows after all. Now we just need to resume this uptrend. We've broken out of the downtrend here. That's a good way to start resuming it. We're in our first phase. We might be correcting here, consolidating, and then getting ready for our second phase, which is actually the third leg. So first leg, second leg correction, third leg typically is the biggest leg. So I would think that we do move up, just like LTCN. We probably move up to this high point or even above that high point. BCH itself, I'm expecting to do some pretty spectacular things. We're looking for prices, you're at $583 now. We're looking for something that's about a 3x, if not more, between now and the end of October, if not sometime in November at this point. Certainly by the end of the year, we could even be at new all-time highs for BCH. So what that means for BCHG would just be, what would that be for BCH? 583 now, all the way up there, 4,000. What is that, an 8x? I don't know. Am I just shy of an 8x? 7.5x, 7 point. It's like a 7x, okay. I was doing the quick math, but again, I'm sleep deprived. Forgive me. 7.2x. If Bitcoin Cash is doing a 7.2x, I would assume then that, and not saying that it is going to be at new all-time highs by the end of the year. I could just see it getting there. But how about this? Instead of by the end of the year or whatever date, when Bitcoin Cash gets to new all-time highs, whenever that happens, which will happen probably between now and either December or between now and the end of January, I would think, when we're at new all-time highs, if Bitcoin Cash is seeing a 7.2x, BCHG, I would think, would see a margin higher than that, right? Like a high to a low here, what might be, that 1272 makes a lot of sense. If not even higher than that, 7x could turn into a 14x or even more for BCHG. Something at $45 to $64. When Bitcoin Cash is at and above its all-time high areas, its current all-time high areas, we should see BCHG corresponding with a with a $45 to $64 price, if not something higher. Hold on, guys. Man, oh man, gotta clear out sometimes. But going into October, I think it would make a lot more sense that we're somewhere around $18 to $23. If Bitcoin Cash is going to see like a 3 to a 4x, might BCHG see a 5 to a 6x? I could see that happening. So 18 to 23 bucks by the end of October, if not sometime in November. A little bit of correction though, same thing, right? I'm actually expecting Bitcoin Cash now, we're at 583. I'm expecting it to drop back to at least 560, if not 520 at the most, something around $500. We could even go below $500, but I'm not really thinking that's what happens. I think we'll hold that like 500 to 520 area. But with that in mind, and I think that's going to take place between now and the next couple of weeks, unless Bitcoin Cash takes off before BTC and the rest of the markets, which it can. It's done that before. I actually made a video just now talking about that as a possibility. But if it follows suit with the rest of the market, we should see Bitcoin Cash moving down slowly over the next couple of weeks. I would think that reflects in the price action of BCHG as well, from a low to a high here. After all, we topped off the same week there. I would think, anything from $3 and 60 cents, 65 cents to maybe $3 at the lowest, absolute lowest for BCHG. But I doubt you get to $3. I would think you probably hold that 360, 370 area, something around there. But that's where you're going to go. You're at 411 now. Okay. And let's finish this up with Chainlink, GLNK. Just because I feel like Link's been relevant lately. And it's good. It's good to throw in. You know, I don't talk about these Grayscale trusts all the time. We do cover BCHG and LTCN every single time because those are like the main trusts. But, you know, other than GBTC was the main trust at one point. Ethereum ETH was the main trust at another point. You know, but or like those are the top two. But now they're ETFs, so a little bit different. It's kind of interesting that, you know, I hear people talking about Litecoin. I hear people talk about how merchant acceptance is so important. Merchant use case and acceptance, like the amount of merchants that you have able to be onboarded to your protocol, is very important, and it tells you everything you need to know about the success of a project. Why don't more people talk about Litecoin then? Because man, it has the third highest merchant acceptance in the space, and it has for a while, and nobody talks about it. It makes me think that there's some stuff going on that the outsiders are just not aware of, but the insiders are aware of. I really think that Litecoin, LTCN, I think it's going to dress to impress going into the rest of this year here. I think it's going to be very spectacular, but we'll see. We'll see. High to low. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. High to low for Chainlink from last cycle's high. Man, what a spectacular. How much did we do last cycle? Like let's just go from this low. From November of 2017 to May of 2021, you did a 378x. Crazy stuff, you guys. Man, last cycle wasn't even a good cycle, and that was a good move for Chainlink there, man. And anybody who held. What's crazy too is like you have to get that 370x. If you want to hold throughout all that, you have to hold through 73% drops. Two of them. You got to hold through this drop up here. How much of a drop was that from this high to this low? That was a 63% drop. You got to sit through some massive volatility, or time it right. But the easiest thing to do is just hold through all of it, right? I think Chainlink's going to do well by the end of the cycle. I really do expect it to do well. We're at $23 now. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if it was worth $200 or more by the end of the cycle. You know, 230 at a minimum. I could see us getting to 560, 430, something like that. I could see a 20x. You know, if Chainlink does that, G-Link is going to, because I don't think we're going to see an ETF happen for Chainlink. Maybe we do. But and if we do, you guys, these ETFs are being, I wouldn't say thrown out left and right, but they're being proposed left and right. If Chainlink were to get an ETF, that'd be really bad for G-Link, but it wouldn't be terrible, right? Because again, if this, let's just actually see here. What is G-Link Grayscale? Let's just see here real quick what the NAV price is, because even if it comes down to its NAV price, anybody who buys here, you would still see growth. You know, it would be a little bit diminished compared to what you'd expect it to be if it wasn't an ETF. But let's just see here. Let's look. Do I have, okay, NAV. Where's the NAV? No, name, performance. 2087. We're at 47. So 2087. Do a 10x from there, that's $200. I mean, yeah, even from here, if you buy here and it drops back to NAV because an ETF comes out, it'll still grow back to its all-time high area and probably through there, because a 10x is the minimum of the scale. I would think that you do get something on the lines of a 20x or more, which would put you all the way up at like $400. So even if you buy here, you're getting decent returns, better than most things in the stock market. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm not saying an ETF happens. I'm just saying, as risky as it is investing in these trusts, because you never know what's going to be promoted next as far as ETFs go, as long as the underlying asset grows, which they likely will, if they're getting an ETF, they're likely going to see some inflows come in. You know, that'll still pump this up enough to where you might get shaken out a little bit, but you'll come back with a vengeance. All that to be said, though, if Chainlink does do what I think it's going to do, and G-Link does not become an ETF, because remember, Grayscale said they would love to turn all their trusts into ETFs. So if that's something that's going to happen, if that's something that the market seems like they're going for, then they would do it. Absolutely, they would. I don't know why either. Why not just keep them as trusts? Because the premiums are so much. They're basically ETFs, but they're not, because it's not like a one-to-one. It's not linked, but the fact that it's backed by something. I don't know. I think it's interesting. everybody applauds MicroStrategy for being the first, but really like Grayscale has done some stuff that's ahead of MicroStrategy for sure as far as like crypto institutional investment goes. Nobody talks about that though, which makes me think these trusts might actually outperform a lot of people's expectations. But again, I'm getting distracted. We do a 10x for Link. We're probably going to do a 20x for GLNK, and that'd put us at $1,000. We do a 20x for Link. Probably going to do a 40x for GLNK, which puts us at $2,000. Well, I could have done that math. $1,000 to $2,000, in price. Does that make sense with our all-time high to cycle low fibs? I mean, 1,300 right there at the golden ratio. 2,800 at the 1,886, something, anything and everything in between is possible. And that's just at a 2-to-1 growth rate, right? We've seen these trusts, whenever the underlying asset grows, we've seen these trusts grow at much faster than just a 2-to-1 growth rate. I'm trying to be conservative, as silly as that might seem, by doubling it. You got a lot of potential. I very much do see GLNK getting to $1,000 by the end of the cycle. Again, excluding the fact that if an ETF comes out, then maybe not. Maybe you stop at $400. TA from the past wouldn't be applicable to TA from the future because now you have a different thing. Now it goes from a trust to an ETF. But looking at it here, you do have a little gap right here down at about $40. Makes it easy to assume that you're probably going to go down there and fill that gap. That's easy, right? You filled this gap here. It's Gap City around this area, apparently. You're going to go down, fill that gap, and then you'll probably come back up. High to low here, golden ratio, 0.5382 area, at least $41. At least $40 right there. What is that closing price? $40.88. At least there. At the most, $32.80. And then you should be resuming back up. Okay, I think by the end of October we should see GLNK up at $92 to $120. And if you're not there, it's only because you're higher. So you've got a lot of growth to go, but a little bit of turbulence between now and the 17th, the 16th of September because of the FOMC meeting. I think that we're going to drop because people are perceiving these rate cuts to be bad. So we're going to sell the news or sell the hype and buy the news is my expectation. The reality is most people don't know what they're talking about. That doesn't mean that I know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying most people, whenever it comes to things that you just hear everybody talking about, odds are most people don't know what they're talking about. It's just regurgitated information. It's regurgitated information that sounds right, right? You have people who don't know what they're talking about things that they don't know. And we've done some comparisons, some analysis on the interest rates, the Federal Reserve interest rates. And it doesn't matter if you cut rates, it doesn't matter if you hike rates. We've seen the markets grow in both scenarios. It doesn't matter what direction the rates are hiking or cutting. It matters how fast. And we've been cutting these rates at a very slow pace. So everybody preemptively assuming cutting rates because the last couple of times we cut rates, it was beneficial for the market. So I don't get how people think that. But we've seen some rate cuts over the past 10 years where it has been very detrimental to crypto and to the markets. We've seen like quick shakeouts, but then we recover like a month later. We've seen that happen. So people are primed in thinking that. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to drop down into this announcement. And then once the rate cuts happen, everyone's going to expect, or maybe not everyone, but people who don't know any better are going to expect that the price drops. And then it'll move up. They'll be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and they'll have to FOMO in to higher prices, causing the price to surge even more. I'm just expecting, I'm getting off on a whole nother topic. All I'm trying to say is I expect the price to move down into the FOMC meeting because it's negatively perceived event, right? It really should be positively perceived. And the OGs, the people who know what they're doing, are talking about, at least I think, I'll throw myself in that mix as well. At least I think we know what we're talking about. We know that this rate cut is going to be beneficial to the markets. And I don't think that it's going to cause a short-term dump. I think that we're seeing that now in kind of a front-running fashion to that event. And then once that event happens, we're going to pump. We're going to do the opposite of what the market expects, which is typically what happens. So I got nothing else, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I could go on forever. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.